Hello, this is Connie Malay, and I'm a voice crying in the wilderness. Today, I'm going to come to you from Daniel chapter 3, and it's 1 through 6. Let me get my glasses on here. And the title is In the Midst of the Fire. He was in it with you. All right. It's Daniel chapter 3, 1 through 6. It says, Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura, in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent together the princes, the governors, the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image, which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Then the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, and the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together into the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up, and they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. Okay, so it says that everybody came to reverence this image that the king Nebuchadnezzar wanted to put, where he was in the city. And so everybody came to marvel at this thing. Why? I don't know, but they did. So now go to Daniel 3:12 through 19. It says, There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon. So this means somebody is telling on Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They was telling that they weren't bound down to this image, because they said, anytime the horn blow, you're supposed to bow down to it. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did not do that. So somebody is being a snitch. So they going and telling the king, like, didn't you, those three, that you put over your affairs. He said, these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They're not listening to you. They don't respect you. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. And so it goes 13. It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage, because he's mad because they didn't listen to him. They didn't obey him. It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. And it said, Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Is it true? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? And so Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, in a nutshell, like, no. I mean, it's true. No, we didn't bow down. And it said in 17, and if it be so, he's saying that, it says now in 15, if ye be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, a psalmistry, and zolper, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? So he's trying to, trying to make himself bigger than God. Say, who's that God that's going to deliver you out of my hands, once you don't do what I say? 16 says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. 17. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So 19 says, Then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake, and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, their hats, and their other garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High God, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And now go down to 28. Well, now let's go to 27. And the princesses, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors being gathered together, saw these men upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was a hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of fire had passed on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him. This is a powerful, I love this story because you know what? It's letting us see that no matter what goes on, God is in control. If we don't bow down to things that we know are not right, and we always keep God high above all things, he's going to take care of us. He's going to bring us through. I don't care what you've gone through. I know people have gone through things that's just terrible. Me, for one, I've been through some terrible things. But I've come out on the other side, not even smelling like smoke, not even looking like I should look from what I've gone through. And it's because of God's grace, because of His mercy, His love and kindness, because He cares and He's always there. No matter what, He's there, y'all. In the midst of your fiery furnace, in the midst of your fiery trials, He's there and He cares and He loves you. You know, I had an incident happen 2 years ago. I had a serious fiery furnace, a trial. And I was leaving Sacramento because of a situation that was going on. And I was going to live with one of my children that lived in Memphis, Tennessee. And anyway, to make a long story short, I met up with this lady that name was Miss Thomas, but it's Evangelist Annie Thomas. And she's in Memphis, Tennessee. She's an evangelist down there. And she's a very beautiful, anointed woman of God. And I didn't know that she was an evangelist. I just knew that she knew God because me and my daughter went to a Food Locker down there. And so I met up with her down there, and we started talking about God, and we related. And ended up, she gave me her phone number. She had a bulletin that she had from her church, and she wrote her number on it. She said, "Baby, just call me anytime." And I said, "I will." And anyway, to make a long story short, as I said, it ended up one morning, early morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, my daughter, I found out she, has some mental issues. I knew she had some things going on with her, but not to that extent. But she ended up beating on me, jumping on me, beating me, saying I was saying something about her. And how could I be doing that and I'm asleep? And she just jumped on my back, and I know it was demonic because I couldn't get up. I could not get up, and she's a thin young lady. She's thin, and I know that if, normally I could have knocked her off of me, but I could not get up, and she just beat me, and she beat me. She beat me to the point of you would never have noticed that this is me. The face you see right now, it was not me. I looked at like a ugly, horrific, something that should have been on a scary movie. And I'm telling you the truth. I got papers to prove that I had contusions of the head and swelling and all that stuff. But I had remembered about the lady. And she had, the next morning, well, it went on to morning. And so by the time I got up, I went outside and I got my phone and I told the lady, I called her, I said, "Would you please come get me?" And do you know, she didn't ask no questions. She said, "I'm coming, baby, right now." She came to get me, and she said, "Oh my Lord." She said, "You get in this car, don't you go back in there." So it ended up, we went down the street, flagged down the police. She flagged down the police, and they would say, "Oh my God, what happened?" And I said, "My daughter, beat me up." And they said, "Well, okay, let's tell me where she lived, and we're going to go around here, and we finna, pick her up and throw her in jail." I said, "Don't do that." Because I had grandkids there, and I said, "No, I don't want her put in jail. I just want to leave." So it ended up, I went back and got my clothes, the few clothes that I had there, because I hadn't been there but 2 weeks. And I still, thank God, I had money. So I was able to, I went to the hospital first. Went to the hospital, spent the night in the hospital. And then after that, like I said, the police, they took me over. I know I'm going to look backwards. It's coming back to me. But the police had brought me over there, got my things. And they dropped me off at the Greyhound station. And they saw me off. And to this day, I thank God for Evangelist Annie Thomas. And I thank God for the police department down there in Tennessee. in Memphis, Tennessee, police department, because it was so sweet to me and so caring, and I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you. But yeah, so I was able to get, they drew me to the Greyhound. I got on the Greyhound and came on back to Sacramento, California. And here I am, testifying of how good God is. Testifying of being in a fiery furnace. I was somewhere that I didn't even know nobody. But God knew. God knew that I would end up needing the same woman that I spoke to, that I came acquainted to for a few minutes. He knew what was going to happen before it happened. That's why he put her in place, to be that ram in the bush. And I think about it all the time, and I just thank God for her. And matter of fact, I talk to her all the time now. I check on her, talk to her, still tell her how much I appreciate her and love her. And we have become friends. I mean, good friends. We talk about the Lord always and how good God is. And, I just thank God for loving me so much, to protect me like he did. Because if it wasn't for him, I don't know what had happened. I mean, I didn't know nobody. But he sent that beautiful saint of God that had an ear to hear and obey him. And I'm so thankful for that. So I'm just letting you guys know, I don't care what you're going through, that God is in it with you. It may not look like it at the time, but when you look back and you see what God did, then you know he was there. God is so good. God is so good. I just want to let you guys know, if you don't know it, God is so good. I'm so glad to be saved. I'm so glad that he loves me. I'm so glad that he shields me. I mean, I was hurt. I got hurt. But I got over it. It's done. God blessed me to get home safe. I might have had to suffer for a little while, but joy came in the morning. And I'm here to testify of his goodness. So I'm letting you guys know, in the midst of your fire, in the midst of the fiery furnace, Jesus is right there with you. He's right there with you. I didn't think it was going to get out, because earlier I tried to upload this video, but it kept turning it off and everything. But it's done. It's already done. And so anyway, I just thank God for that. So I'm letting you know, in the midst of the fire, in the midst of the fire, he was in it with you. I want you guys to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it very much, because I was trying to get this gospel out. I know there's many on here, and they're powerful women and men of God, which I watch myself. But I'm just asking you to help me, to get the word out, and I'd appreciate it very much. So anyway, God bless you all, and I'm Connie Malay, and I'm a voice crying in the wilderness. God bless you until next time. Bye-bye.